You have never once seen yourself die. Not really, not even in your dreams. You may have fallen from impossible heights. You may have been chased, drowned, shot, buried, but somewhere just before the end, something always happens. The scene changes, or you wake up, or the moment simply slides away, like your mind quietly refused the invitation. Most people have heard the old warning passed between children at sleepovers: die in a dream, and you die in your sleep. It sounds like something whispered to keep you cautious. But here is the strange part. Nobody has ever been able to test it. If the warning were true, the only people who could confirm it would no longer be alive to tell anyone. Every single person who has ever died in a dream and woken up the next morning has already disproven the myth simply by being there to describe it. So the warning collapses under its own logic. But that collapse leaves behind a far more interesting question. If dying in a dream doesn't kill you, what actually happens in that moment instead? Sleep researchers have spent decades trying to answer exactly that. And the answer starts with understanding what a dream really is. Not poetically, mechanically. When you enter REM sleep, your brain doesn't shut down. It does something almost the opposite. It begins generating a fully detailed internal world built entirely from memory, emotion, and prediction, with no outside input at all. Researchers sometimes describe this as a controlled hallucination. Your brain isn't recording reality anymore, it's authoring it. And during this authoring process, one particular region goes quiet. The prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for logic, judgment, and reality checking, becomes significantly less active during REM sleep. This is why dream logic never bothers you while you're inside it. The part of your mind that would normally say, "Wait, that's impossible," has stepped out of the room. You're left fully convinced by a world your own brain just invented 5 seconds ago. And inside that world, danger shows up constantly. Across nearly every culture studied, the most common dream themes involve threat, falling, being chased, drowning, losing control of a vehicle. A Finnish researcher named Antti Revonsuo proposed a reason for this pattern. He called it the threat simulation theory. His idea was that dreaming may have evolved as a kind of rehearsal space, a way for the brain to practice danger without facing any real consequences. If that's true, the nightmare isn't a malfunction. It might be one of the oldest functions sleep ever had. But notice what this theory does not explain. It explains why the danger appears. It does not explain why the danger never finishes. This is where lucid dreaming research becomes essential. In a lucid dream, the dreamer becomes aware they're inside a dream while it's still happening. Some researchers have studied lucid dreamers who deliberately stopped running from death. People who let themselves fall, let themselves get caught, stayed present through the moment that should have ended everything. And in case after case, something curious happened. The dream didn't end in death. It transformed, the scene shifted, or the dreamer simply woke, often describing the moment not as terrifying, but disorienting, even strangely calm. So here is the real mystery hiding underneath the old myth. It's not that your brain refuses to let you die. It's that your brain has never been able to picture what comes after. Stop and consider what that would actually require. To simulate death, your brain would need to generate an experience of non-existence. No sensation, no thought, no observer. But the thing doing the simulating is awareness itself. You'd be asking your own consciousness to picture the absence of consciousness, using consciousness as the tool. It's a little like trying to use a flashlight to look at the dark spot directly behind the flashlight. The very instrument blocks the thing it's pointed at. Some sleep researchers have noticed something else worth pausing on. The moments right before dream death often feel unusually vivid, heightened detail, stretched time, sharp clarity. And then, instead of darkness, a kind of quiet sidestep, a new scene, a different room, a return to waking. Some scientists describe this as a kind of narrative escape hatch, a point where the simulation simply cannot continue down that path, so it reroutes. Others put it more simply. The brain has no memory of non-existence to draw from, so when the story reaches that edge, it can only do what it has always done. Keep telling a story it actually knows how to tell. There's a strange parallel to this in a completely different field. Researchers studying people who were clinically resuscitated after cardiac arrest have noted something specific in many accounts. These patients rarely describe darkness or emptiness or silence during the period when their brain activity had stopped. Most describe nothing at all, not even the memory of nothing. Simply a gap, the way a skipped scene in a film leaves no blank frame behind, just a cut straight from one moment to the next. It seems your brain doesn't record the absence of experience. It just leaves no entry in the file. So bring that back to the dream. When the dream reaches the edge of death, your brain searches for a memory of what happens next and finds nothing to copy, no template, no stored footage. So it improvises the only thing it has ever known how to generate: more experience. Every single night, without asking your permission, your own mind quietly decides that you continue, not out of optimism, not as some built-in safety mechanism designed to protect you emotionally, simply because non-existence has never once been part of its material. It can't draw a blank it has never seen. This might explain something philosophers have circled for centuries. Long before anyone understood REM sleep, the philosopher Thomas Nagel once asked what it would actually be like to be a bat, to have a totally different kind of mind experiencing the world from the inside. His deeper point was that consciousness always has a perspective. There is something it is like to be you, specifically from inside your own awareness, and maybe true non-existence simply falls outside what any perspective can hold. Every time you try to imagine your own absence, notice what actually happens. You picture darkness, you picture silence, you picture nothing, but there's always a quiet you standing just outside the frame, watching that nothing happen. The observer never disappears from the act of imagining its own disappearance. That might not be poetic language. It might be a structural fact about what consciousness is built to do, which brings the old myth back into view, but upside down. The warning was never really about dying. It was a story people told to make the danger inside dreams feel real, urgent, worth surviving. And in a strange way, the myth wasn't wrong about the stakes. It just misunderstood what was actually at risk. Nothing in you is in danger of dying when a dream turns dark, but something in you is, every single night, running directly into the edge of what your own mind is capable of representing and quietly turning away. Not from fear, from limitation. Your brain has spent every night of your life rehearsing falling, drowning, running, losing. It has never once rehearsed not being here at all. So if your own mind, the very thing generating your sense of self every second of every day, has never been able to picture its own absence, how much of what you call understanding yourself is really just understanding a story your brain has never had to finish?